Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. Today, we're going to complete our communication skills part of making business decisions. So, we're going to work on our key expressions from yesterday, take them a step further than we did yesterday, and actually put them to use. We'll see in just a minute how to do that. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom quiet. When you are speaking, tune in to the new words and expressions that you're learning. Use them actively so that I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. By the way, here on screen, you can see the presentation we started yesterday. We're going to pick up from where we left off after a little review. And while we're waiting for some other people to join us, let's say hello to, the first person I saw was Carolina. Hello, Carolina. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Very good. You sound very, very familiar to me.
Yes, I've been learning English with you sometimes, yes.
Yeah, but Carolina, okay, maybe for some reason I don't remember the picture, but I remember your voice.
Okay. Okay, that is good. Yes, maybe I changed my picture, but it's so long. Sorry, it's so long since I have it, so
Ah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe you forget my
Maybe,
picture. Uh-huh.
maybe. Uh, and also, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, you sounded familiar. And what about, let's see, Juanma? Am I saying that right?
Yes, hello teacher, how are you?
Hi, where are you from, Juanma?
I'm from Spain, from Alicante.
From Alicante. Okay, very good. Well, we should have some other people joining us. Where is everyone from yesterday? I don't know. They'll probably be sneaking in because the 2 of you were not in yesterday's class, so we're going to have to kind of give you a little review before you begin. So why don't we do that, and maybe the others will join us soon. Okay, so, there's one of the others. There's Daniel. Actually, Daniel, you weren't here yesterday either, were you? So we're going to start from the beginning. Am I right? You weren't here yesterday. Can everyone hear me? Hello?
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Yes, yes.
Good. Daniel, can you hear me? Oh, I don't hear Daniel. Maybe he's having microphone problems. All right. Well, look, yesterday we worked on the communication skills section in making business decisions, taking part in a business decision meeting. And we started by listening and reading a decision-making meeting, listening and reading a dialogue between 4 people taking part in a business decision meeting. In the context, we saw this was a Scandinavian company. We saw this in the bottom right. And they're having budget problems, so they called in some customer service managers to discuss where savings can be made. What does a customer service manager do? Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah, I think it's a service to help the customer.
Makes sense. Customer service manager help the customer with service. Absolutely. So probably dealing with customer issues, customer complaints. But this is a manager, so it's not the actual person dealing with the customers. It's the manager of the customer service representatives, their boss, so to speak. So I don't think maybe Daniel's having connection problems here. All right, so this is what we've got to do. You're going to have to review. Let me just double check here. We're going to have to, we're not going to be able to look at the key phrases, which we did yesterday, because for some reason, no one is here from yesterday, which is very unusual. Let me just see what's going on here. Daniel, can you enter the class? Maybe he's having some problems. Very strange, very quiet. I wonder if it's Verbling or if it's the class, because maybe, or maybe it's a little bit early. I don't know. Sometimes we have Hangout problems. Oh, look, let's do this. While we're waiting for the others, let me give you what you didn't have yesterday. I want you to read through the dialogue because you weren't here. Carolina, why don't you read Sinead? Okay?
Yes.
And Juanma, why don't you read, let's see, why don't you read Jen's? And I'm going to read all the other parts. You're going to read this to get the general idea, and we're going to look at some key expressions as well. This is a review for everyone else, but for you it'll be an introduction. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Go for it.
Today I'd like to establish where we think we can cut costs. We can discuss actual figures when we consider what's possible. Jens, could you start us off, please?
Jens, that's you. Juan? Hello, Juan? Hello, hello? What happened with Juan?
No?
Okay.
Maybe he's scared about my question.
Maybe he went to go,
No,
maybe he
no,
went to the bathroom.
I don't know.
Okay, this is really strange because we normally have 9 people in the class, and I don't know what's going on here. Okay, well, anyway, I guess it's working because Yuki got in, so it must be working. No problems entering, right, Yuki? Everything was okay?
Yes, everything okay? Yes.
Oh, okay, fine, fine. Because Daniel came and left, and I don't know I thought maybe we're having some Hangout problems. Okay, so look, because Carolina and Juan were not in yesterday's class, we're just going to read through the dialogue one more time so that they can get a little introduction to the key phrases. Okay, so Yuki, maybe you could read Jen's for us. Carolina's reading Sinead, and me and Juan, if he gets his microphone on, will read the other parts. Okay, so Sinead just finished with, Jens, could you start off, please? So you're going to be Jens, Yuki.
Okay. From me?
So we're going to pick up right where you start on the second line. Jen says, yes, well?
Yes, well, if we look at the fact, we'll see that our cost for personnel are very high.
Personnel.
Personnel are very high.
And Anna says, yes, but we've discussed layoffs before.
Hang on, let's hear what Jens has to say about personnel before we reject the topic.
We reject.
Reject.
Reject, not react, but reject.
Reject.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
You are right, Anna, but I'm not talking about reducing the number of employees. Look at the overtime figures. They are here in black and white, and they are costing us a lot of money. The fact is we need to keep these to minimum to save money.
Matt, what's your position on this?
What do you think, Juan? Do you have your microphone? No one. Okay, I'll be Matt. What Jen says is right. The thing is, we need to look at why we have so much overtime, and if it's realistic, to try to reduce it. And then Anna says, if we do reduce it, it'll mean dramatic savings. We could set up a blah, 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 blah. Sinead?
That all sounds pretty positive. Let's look into it at a country level and discuss it again at our next meeting. Can we move on to coffee resources? Anna, this was your point. Could you give us some detail, please?
Yes, what I mean is paper, office supplies, that sort of thing. I think if we look closely at what we actually use, we'll find there's a lot of waste. A classic example is printing emails out on expensive copy. And then Matt says, because it looks like I'm doing the other voices,
Thank you.
Matt says, so what you're getting at is monitoring the office supplies and making sure we're not using too much or wasting too much. Anna says, exactly.
I'm not convinced. As far as I'm concerned, we'd make hardly any savings compared to the personnel cost.
The drawback is it's quite labor intensive to keep a check on this, but it could be a project for one of our work experience students. Yes, we're blah, 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 blah. Okay, back to Sinead.
I don't want to spend too long on this point. We should set up a project, Matt mentioned, with the student and see how it goes. There are plenty of other areas we could consider. Let's turn to the next item, customer expenditure.
Okay, and Matt says, if you ask me, we should look carefully at client travel expenses and entertainment.
Entertainment cost, yeah?
Entertainment
Absolutely.
costs, yes.
Absolutely. We spend far too much money on clients. The expense accounts aren't taken seriously enough. That's my view.
Anna, you have been very quiet.
You've been
You've you've been
very quiet.
I'm sorry. You've been very quiet.
Yes, I was just doing some calculations. Matt is right, but I think it would be crazy to cut expense accounts. In my opinion, we should introduce tighter guidelines.
Good. We seem to be getting somewhere. Let's drop up some action points on what we've discussed so far.
Sounds good. Okay, did they reach a final decision?
No,
Not really.
but no, I think they understand what is need to do. Now they understand that action point is have to be drawn up. So I think next action is expected.
Okay, well, so they're going to reach a conclusion soon because that's what they're going to do when they draw up an action point. Okay, so this is really the process of making a decision that we're looking at here. Carolina, I want you to find in that text, I'd like you to find one expression
Mhm.
for presenting an argument. Give me one person who's making an argument in favor of something, right? I want you to tell me the key expression they use to introduce or present their argument.
Um, mm, Maybe I'd like to establish.
Say the whole sentence for me. I'd
I'd
like
like
to
I'd like to establish where we think we can cut costs.
I'd like to establish where we can cut costs. Um, well, that's the introduction of the meeting itself, right?
Uh-huh.
Right? It's not introducing one particular argument.
Okay.
So it's an introduction, but
Yes. Okay, let me think. Or let me read.
Mhm.
Um,
while she's looking for that, Yuki, I'd like you to see if you can pick out one example of someone giving an opinion. So
Mhm.
not an argument, but just an opinion, more subjective.
For example, they express their opinion by using the phrase, for example, uh, as far as sorry,
Well, sounds okay to me.
as far as when I
As
don't
far as what?
I can't find.
Well, the expression was, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, as far as we are concerned.
That's right. That's right.
Wait.
Let me see if I can find it as well.
I've lost.
Yeah, it's in the middle. The middle column where Jen says, I'm
As
not
far as I
convinced.
am concerned, we don't make hardly any savings. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. That's expressing a personal opinion. Let's go back to Carolina. Could you find one expression? In your case, we're looking for presenting an argument.
I'm afraid not. But
Is that the
if we
expression? I'm afraid not.
no, it's
Oh,
not expression.
oh, it's what you're
No.
saying. Okay.
Maybe if we look at the facts.
Exactly. Good.
Ah.
That's exactly right. So one of the key phrases we learned yesterday was, if we look at the facts, we'll see that blah, 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 blah. We'll see that our costs for personnel are very high. She's presenting an argument. Exactly.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
And there's two more types of expressions we found yesterday. One type was responding to an argument or an opinion, and another type was clarifying. Okay, so we've got Juan back, and now we've got Daniel and Shadow. So especially if you were in yesterday's class, it would be a good review. If you weren't in yesterday's class, you have to kind of skim through the dialogue. See if you can find one example of responding to an argument. How did they respond? A good key expression. And see if you can find one example of clarifying a point when someone is debating. Okay, so Shadow, Juan, and Daniel, specifically the three of you, because you didn't have a chance to go yet. But if you can't find it, we'll go back to Yuki and Carolina. So, can you find one of either? I'll take that
Sorry,
as
find in all the text,
yeah,
all the columns.
yeah, because we just read it as a class, so it should be.
For example, they are responding to one of participants or one of member were responding to an opinion by using the sentence, "I'm not convinced." Yeah.
Okay.
Such a kind of so we have to find a sentence that means responding to opinion or clarifying a point.
Teacher, it's like a phrase or something?
Exactly. We're looking for key phrases that you can use when you're in the same situation. Exactly. So right now we're looking for responding to an opinion, because that's one we missed, and clarifying a point. And you'll see that in the text in the chat window. Clarify. I can't write. Clarifying a point.
I'll write. Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
you did it.
teacher, if it's responding like absolutely.
For example, that's right. So you're finding that kind of response. No one says absolutely in this dialogue, but you're finding something like that in the dialogue.
There is absolutely.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know you, teacher. It's the screen because I saw it in front of me. The gent said absolutely we spend far too much money on clients.
Okay, good. Where is that? Okay, yeah, on the right. I see it. Okay, on the right. Absolutely, we spend far too much money on clients. The expense accounts aren't taken seriously enough. That's my view. Well, let's see. We spend far too much. That seems to be like more offering an opinion, right? Jens is offering an opinion because he says that's my view. See what I mean?
I think it's responding. I don't know.
Well, if you ask, let's see, Matt says, if you ask me, we should look at client travel expenses. And he says, absolutely. So is he responding? Yeah, he's responding. You're right. He's saying, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. But absolutely is not a key phrase. It's good, but we're looking for kind of long idiomatic phrases, long phrases that you can use. So, for example, if we look at the facts, we'll see that our costs are for personnel. That's a good key expression. If we look at the facts, we'll see that. If you're in a decision-making meeting, that would be a great way to start to introduce an argument for a point. If we look at the fact shadow, we'll see that the more people that come to class, the more we can interact. So I'm starting my argument with that if we look at the facts. So we're looking for kind of a set expression like that. So can anyone find one for responding to an opinion or argument? A set expression. A little bit
Yeah.
longer than absolutely.
I have one.
Go for it.
The fact is we need to keep this to a minimum to save money.
The fact is we need to keep this to a minimum to save money. Where is that, by the way? The fact is...
Is Jens in the last sentence.
Okay. Jen's in the last sentence?
The first column.
The first column. Okay, got it. The fact is, we need to keep to a minimum. Responding. Well, look, the ones we did yesterday for responding were, I'm not convinced. If I remember right, give me just a second here. Responding was C on yesterday's sheet. So C, I'm not convinced. Oh, you know what? Let me just go back a page. I think it's on 4. Let's take a quick look. There we go. So C is responding. So we labeled C number 6. I'm not convinced. And in the text, that was, hang on a second. I'm not convinced as far as I'm concerned. We'd make, I think it's that line. And then on the screen, also 8, Matt is right. So I agree with Shadow that absolutely is one way to respond, but a slightly longer expression would be, Matt is right. You're really directly responding to his opinion there. Matt is right. Matt is correct. But also, I'm not convinced. These are all clear expressions responding. Okay, maybe there's a few others as well. Last one. What about B, clarifying a point?
I think you can use key phrase "so" to clarify the point. So in the sentence, so what you are getting at is monitoring the office supplies. It's a clear. He is clarifying the point.
I agree completely. So is a good way to reach a conclusion, therefore to clarify a point. Okay, sounds good. That was one from yesterday. Let's do this. Let's take our key expressions. Okay, all of them are here. I don't know if you have you don't have the answers on yours, actually. Sorry about that. You don't have the answers on yours. But you do have the answers down here on slide 13. So if you want to cheat at any time, go to slide 13 and you'll get these and more. They're all there. But what we're going to do is take them now. Let's go back. to here. Sinead is leading the discussion. Look at the tape script, the one that we just read, and underline the passages she uses to set the agenda, manage turn taking, invite people to express their opinion, move on to a different topic. What I think it'd be best if each of you take one and see if you can find it, just like we were doing. So we started with key expressions for those four functions: presenting an opinion, responding to an opinion, giving your opinion, presenting an argument, responding to an argument, clarifying a point from an argument. Now we're going to go in a little further depth and look at these particular moments in the dialogue, and then we'll try to use these in an activity of our own, in a business meeting of our own. So Yuki, why don't you do set the agenda? Shadow, manage turn taking. Juan, invite people to express their opinions. Daniel, move on to a different topic. And then Carolina, indicate enough time has been spent on the topic, and maybe all of you, if you pick up monitor action points, anyone can do that one. And I'm going to turn the page back to the dialogue. Take a minute. Okay, skim through it.
Teacher, what's the meaning of manage turn taken?
Turn taking is allowing one person to speak at a time.
Okay.
So what expressions does Sinead use to make sure that only one person, that it's not chaos?
Okay.
Okay, so take a minute, and when you're ready, we can go in any order. Anyone got one?
Maybe from me.
Okay, go for it.
Set the agenda for the discussion. Sinead said, today I'd like to establish where we think we can cut the cost.
Absolutely. That's the one I had too. So that was Carolina. That's one you had picked earlier. And we decided that that's how she opens the meeting. But a better way to say that is she sets the agenda for discussion on slide 8. That's it. Very good. What do you think? Shadow? What's that?
Teacher, how about hang on? Let's hear what Jen has to say.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things she says. Hang on. In other words, give Jens a chance. Okay? In fact, you can probably find another one if you keep looking, but that's a good start. Very good. Okay? And Juan, yours was invite people to express their opinions. Can you find a key phrase that she's using, or any of them are using? What do you think, Juan?
I'm thinking, sorry.
Okay, skim through the text, see if you can find it. Remember, you're only looking at Sinead because she's the one leading the meeting, so probably it's going to be from her. So focus on her specifically. While you're thinking, let's go to Daniel. Your job, Daniel, your task was
Yes.
moving on to a different topic. How does she move on?
I find a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn to the next item.
Next item or next?
Next.
Item?
In this case, is Eden. Yes.
Item?
Eden.
Item.
I-T-E-M.
Item.
Item.
There you go. Let's turn to the next item. There you go. That's it. And if you keep looking, you're going to find at least one more. Okay?
One more?
You're
Yes.
going to find one more, actually. Okay, and Carolina, yours was indicate enough time has been spent.
Uh-huh. I don't want to spend too long on this point.
I agree. That's it. So, back to Juan. You're the only one left. What do you think? How does Sinead invite other people to express their opinions or to get new opinions? You find anything, Juan?
What's your position on this?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's it. So, to recap, um, setting the agenda. Today I'd like to establish, you can go on from there. Turn taking. Hang on, let's hear what blah 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 has to say. And also earlier, Jens, could you start off please? So she kind of gets the order going in the discussion. Could you start us off? Could you start us off was another one. And then inviting people to express their opinions. What's your position on this? Then moving on to a different topic. Let's turn to the next item. Or, earlier, can we move on to the next point? Can we move on?
Can we move on to office resource?
That's it. And number 5, indicate more time enough time has been spent. Oh, I don't want to spend too long on this point. Or sometimes we say, let's not beleaguer, which is a fancy way of spending too much time. Beleaguer. I'll write it in the chat window in a second. Number 6 is monitor action points. This is for all of you. Monitor action points. See any examples there of monitoring action points? In other words, monitoring means watching. Monitor is watching. So watching the maybe idea generating stage of what to do next. Monitoring action points. In other words, how does she say it's time to make this, to put this in practice? That's what I'm looking for. How does she express that? It's time to do this.
That all sounds pretty positive.
Uh-huh. Yeah? a little more?
I don't know.
Because you say that sounds positive, okay, but we're not doing anything.
She said,
How
let's look into it at a country level.
Okay, that is an action point. Let's look into it in a different way. Absolutely. Okay, and then she goes even further than that. How does she end the conversation? What's the last thing she says?
Let's draw up some actions beyond points. You mean that?
Draw up. Draw up means create.
Okay.
Draw up means let's create some action plans. Draw up, create. Okay? Now you've got some good key expressions. Let's see what we can do with these. So we're going to continue the meeting that we just heard, or we're going to try to, at least. It might work, it might not. We'll find out. Look at the agenda, look at this agenda item, and decide on your opinion of each suggestion. Add 2 extra suggestions. Okay? So, uh-oh, Shadow popped out. She'll be back, I'm sure. Oh, she's back. Carolina, can you read through our agenda item?
Reduce staff benefits activities.
This was one of the things that was proposed, I think, in the meeting.
Yes. Reduce subsidies.
Subsidies.
Subsidies. Okay. Reduce subsidies in staff cafeteria. Cancel annual staff away day. Restrict Christmas event to staff only. Introduce a PIN?
PIN?
PIN number?
Personal identification number. PIN.
Introduce a PIN number for photocopying unlimited number of copies per person.
That's right. So we're going to do exactly what it says because we're going to try to use those key expressions in a very controlled and deliberate, proactive manner. So add 2 extra suggestions to the list. Juan, what suggestion would you add to the list about reducing?
For example, switch off the lights when you leave the office.
Okay, so switch off the lights and leave the office. Okay, and what else? What do you think, Daniel? Can you give us another one? Another suggestion?
Use video conference instead of travel for meetings.
Good. Use video conferencing. You can say video conferences or video conferencing rather than travel. You can say instead of. I'm just using a different word.
Okay.
So either one is okay.
Okay.
Okay, we've got some good suggestions here. Okay, choose 8 phrases from the key expressions you have never used or not familiar with. Write these on separate cards. Oh, we can't do this part. Continue the meeting. As you participate, play your cards. Well, we can't really play cards in a virtual classroom, but what we can do is use the key expressions. They're the same that we just saw in the dialogue. They're the exact same ones. Okay, but if you want to do it from memory, just say what you remember. Think about the categories that we used, but you can always cheat going to slide 13 right here. They're all there. So if you're going to present an argument, you might say, well, if we look at the facts, we'll see. Giving
I
an
think
opinion.
we should assemble.
Exactly.
Mm.
Okay, but I want each of you to use at least one of these expressions the first time you speak, whether you're clarifying, giving an opinion, or making an argument. Use them proactively. All right, so let me get this back on screen so you can see where we are. And I'm going to say nothing else. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Teacher,
Sorry, yeah?
can you give us an example? Because I didn't get it really.
Okay, I will. Wait, why are we not looking at the right page here? Hold on a second. There we go. Do I have 2 pages that are the same? I do. Okay, here's an example. What are we doing? We are looking at the agenda items and deciding our opinion as a group. Imagine we're having a meeting. Okay, so using one of those key expressions from slide 13, I would say, for example, well, look at the subsidies that we're giving in the cafeteria. I'm presenting an argument. I'm using the second key expression. Look at, then they're here in black and white. Look at the subsidies in the staff cafeteria. They're in the budget here in black and white. There's no way that you can say that the budget subsidies are something that's draining our budget or causing us to lose profits. They're just such a minor area. I think what you're going to have is a lot of angry employees who are not well fed, and that's going to reduce staff morale. So that's my argument, okay, based on the first point in reduced staff benefits and activities. Shadow, I want you to respond to that argument. You can give an opinion, you can respond, or you could clarify something. You've got 3 choices there in how to respond, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just go to page 13 on your own computer and literally pick an expression and start off with it. You've got 3 possibilities: giving an opinion, responding to an opinion, or clarifying. So based on what I said, how would you respond?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, great. So we're not going to use any subsidies. Okay, fantastic. Shadow, I want you to use one of the expressions in leading the discussion to bring us to the next point. And you're going to call on someone as well. Call on someone who hasn't spoken. Okay?
You want me to
Lead
change
the
it?
discussion. Lead the discussion. See where we are
Okay.
on page 13? You've got all those expressions for leading the discussion. So what I want you to do is lead the discussion by picking an expression and maybe getting an opinion or moving on to the next topic. But you're going to call on someone specific to do that. Someone who hasn't
Okay.
spoken. Okay?
Yeah. For example, I can say, yeah, you're absolutely right. And oh, hang on. Let's hear what Carolina want to say.
Excellent.
Okay.
Carolina just left though.
Oh, okay. Let's hear what Daniel want to say.
About what? Sorry, I can't hear you.
About
I
the
couldn't hear
argument.
you.
I think she's asking about the argument that I made about my argument about not
Yes.
reducing the subsidies in the
Okay.
cafeteria.
If you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
we should reduce subsidies in a staff cafeteria, but we could add others benefits as a kindergarten for our children.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Okay. Daniel, I'd like you to lead the discussion and I'd like you to get an opinion from someone else. Just like
Okay.
Shadow did.
What's your position in this, Yuki?
Yes. On what regard do you?
About kindergarten,
About what?
a service of kindergarten as a benefit for our staff.
So reducing the subsidies, but putting in a kindergarten for the children of workers.
I see. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of staffs in the staff cafeteria. No. I think as far as I'm concerned, many staff just don't use the kindergarten in staff cafeteria.
What? Wait. Daniel suggested that we add a kindergarten, right? We add one. The company doesn't have one. So he's saying, let's add a cafeteria as a benefit because we're going to take away all the subsidies in the cafeteria. No more subsidies. You got to pay for everything. But as a benefit, we'll put in a kindergarten. So that's a way to reduce costs, according to Daniel, right? So that's what he's asking you about. Do you agree with that? Disagree? Think it's a good idea? Bad idea?
But we are now talking about reducing subsidy in staff cafeteria. Don't we? Yeah.
I don't know if to ask Daniel.
Yes,
Daniel?
yes, I don't understand. Sorry.
So ask him to wait, Yuki. Clarifying. Use your clarifying expression.
Okay. Daniel, could you give us some detail, please?
Good.
You're right.
Give us some detail, Daniel. So what do you mean exactly?
Yes. In my opinion, the most of our staff don't have any child, but it's a popular measure to say we have a kindergarten for our employees, but ending we wouldn't spend too much of our budget for benefits.
Oh, by the way, Juan, I'd like you to see if you could clarify that point. I'd like you to pick one of the expressions where you have to rephrase the argument. Can you see those expressions on slide 13, Juan?
I have to say a sentence that not agree with the idea with the Daniel's idea.
No,
Nope,
no, no.
not at all.
Clarifying.
You have to clarify his argument. So look on page 13. Do you see the box that says clarifying in the slide? Do you have the slides open?
No.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll put it on screen. 1 second.
Sorry.
No problem. Look at those expressions in the box that says clarifying. See them?
Ah, okay. I know.
Okay. Now what I want you to do, Daniel just gave us, Yuki asked him for details and Daniel explained himself. What I want you to do is pick one of those expressions and clarify his argument based on what he said. If you want, he can repeat it if it's not clear, but say it in your own words using one of those key expressions under clarifying. Okay, Juan?
Okay. Okay, Daniel, can you explain us how are you going to do that?
No, 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 no.
Wait.
You have
Wait.
to use this key expressions.
Yeah.
Look at the bubbling chat. I wrote it. So what you are getting at is some kind of, and
Yeah.
you continue.
So we've got these three here. Take a look on the screen for a second. Let me just highlight them. 1 second. Where's my little, I don't know where it is.
I have to
So
choose
look.
one of them.
Yeah, like this one here.
Okay.
This one here, for example. I can't move my little thing, but there's one there. There's one here. There's one there. Do you see those three that I just marked? So those are good for rephrasing, okay? So to make sure that you understand Daniel's argument, I'd like you to pick one of those and say it in your own words. Want to try, Juan? Or do you
Okay,
want an
I'm gonna
example?
try.
Okay, go for it.
No, I'm gonna try.
Go for it.
What I mean is, I want to the children could go to a kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah.
To a kindergarten for have more time for us.
For having. If you say for, you got to say having.
For having more time for us for our work.
Ah, okay. Okay, good. Here, one little change. Instead of saying what I mean is, you would have to say what you mean is because you're talking to Daniel.
Okay.
Was we're having a meeting. Daniel gave his argument and you're rephrasing his argument. By the way, Najib, you got to mute your microphone because we're getting lots and lots of noise. Okay, Najib?
Yeah,
So we're
you
getting
hear me?
lots. I hear you, yeah, but we're getting
Yeah.
lots and lots of noise in the background. So
Okay. Yeah.
you can
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
so when you're speaking, you can keep the microphone on, but when you're not, try to turn it off because we're getting lots and lots of sounds in the background, okay?
Okay.
All right. So right now we're having a business meeting. Juan, let me give you an example of what I mean, okay? Are you ready, Juan? Let me give you an example. Listen to me. You said what I mean is, but you should have said, Daniel, what you mean is we can put our kids in a kindergarten and that will give us more time for ourselves and more time for our work. Do you see what I did there, Juan?
Yes.
So I changed it from I to you. and I said ourselves instead of us. I think you said us, and I changed it to ourselves. All right, so that's a really good example. I just made a little change, but that's a good example. Okay, Juan, you're now going to lead the discussion, call on someone else, but you're going to move to the next item in the list. So use the leading the discussion phrases to do that, okay?
Okay. Mm, uh, Shadow, what's your position on this?
On what?
On
Daniel's argument?
On Daniel's argument, yes.
Ah, okay, fine. Shadow, what is your position?
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to spend too long time. Where's the picture? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, you want to go back?
No, I'm gonna find it here. Yeah. I think I agree. Where is it? Yeah. In my opinion, I think I agree with Daniel that we can put kids in the kindergarten, and that which makes our work better. And
but is that going to reduce costs, though? Is that really going to reduce costs?
It reduces cost for other wait for other stuff, not for kindergarten. That's what I understand it.
Well, here's the problem. Maybe you're right. Daniel's got an argument. We have to agree or disagree. If we go back to our items, we can see the first one is reduce subsidies in cafeteria. I said we're not going to save a lot of money, so we shouldn't do it. And right? Daniel said we should do it, but as a benefit, we should give the staff a kindergarten. Well, actually, the word is probably daycare rather than kindergarten, to be honest with you, because we say daycare is not really school. Daycare, in British English, they say child minding, meaning watching children. And Daniel's argument, if I understand correctly, Daniel, what you're getting at is, since most of the staff don't have kids, we're going to end up saving a lot of money. But we look really good if we have a daycare center. Is that the right idea?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so that's the idea.
Okay. I'm gonna change. So, okay. So
You can respond. You can agree. You can disagree. It's up to you.
No, I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced. Okay.
Why?
Because I think kids is more important than work.
But we need benefits, not debts. We need to reduce our budget.
Yeah, it's true. That's the purpose of our meeting, is finding ways to cut down expenses. It's true.
We can reduce other things, because I think having daycare is important for working mothers.
So you agree with Daniel then?
He said we can reduce it, but we have it just for what we look. I didn't get it. He said that's just for like
looking good.
Looking good, yeah.
It's true. That is what he said.
Yeah, I know that, but that means he will reduce the subsidies, and I mean the daycare, it won't be just for looking good, not true. I mean, I don't know how to explain it.
For looking good, but not being real.
Not useful, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That it
this
shadow.
is the meaning.
Yuki, what were you saying?
That it. That
That's
it,
it? Yeah.
that it shadow, that point. I think it would be crazy to add another kindergarten or daycare additionally, because we are talking about cutting cost of our company. We are on the verge of bankrupt. Do you understand the situation, Daniel?
Bankruptcy.
What are you talking about?
Talking about to make happy mothers.
Yeah, and they can
Make
focus
others
on the
happy.
work. Yeah, yeah, I
And
agree with that.
they'll work properly, harder.
Well, I don't want to spend too long on this one point. Do you think we could move on to this idea of canceling the annual staff away day? As you know, the staff away day is the day when you don't have to work. You get paid, but you get to have a day off for free. You still get paid and you get to relax. So why don't we just cancel it to cut back? What's your position on that, Juan? Do you think it's a good idea? Juan?
Wow.
Juan comes and Juan goes. Are you there, Juan? Oh, I don't hear Juan. Let's see if we can get Najib into the argument here. Najib, in our business meeting, talking about reducing or cutting costs, our action item here is reducing staff benefits and activities. And my suggestion is that we cancel the annual away day, the day where you get paid but you have a day off of work. In order to respond, Najib, what you need to do is look at our key expressions here. You can respond using some of those expressions in the box that says responding to opinions. Or you can give an opinion on the left side. So what's your take on that, Najib? What's your take on, what is your take on, I forgot what it was? Oh, canceling the staff away day. You think that's a good way to cut costs? Najib, you have to turn your microphone back on for this. No, Najib. Okay, Yuki, what's your take on it?
Sorry, I am lost. Could you repeat again?
Sure.
Mm.
I was asking, I said I didn't want to spend too much time on that one point. So let's go on to the next topic, which is canceling the staff annual away day. We could save money if we stop paying for people to not come to work. Let's just cancel their away day, their day off.
Exactly. You are right. In my opinion, it is the first thing we have to take. First measures we have to take. Cutting cost is our focus point. So canceling an annual staff away day is a good idea.
Okay, good. Yes? Yes?
Shadow.
Shadow.
But there is no key expression.
There is. You could say, hang on, let's hear what Shadow has to say.
How do you think about it?
What do you think about it?
What do you think about it?
You agree with that, huh?
So he agrees, yeah.
He agreed to cut off the annual stuff.
The away day, yeah.
In my opinion, it's a necessary measure we have to take for the first hand.
Okay, so I completely disagree with you.
Yeah.
Thank God. Tell us why.
Thank God.
Tell us why.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I think important to. I think people have the right to get some rest and without any consequences.
Okay. All right. And Daniel, what's your position?
Um, if you ask me, we shouldn't do it because it's a very unpopular measure.
Really?
Um,
Wow. Not working is unpopular? I can't believe it. Okay.
to cancel annual
We shouldn't
to
cancel. Okay, okay.
sorry.
Got it, got it. It would be very unpopular. Okay, I
Yeah.
got it. So you think we're,
And
we're gonna get a lot of angry people if we do it?
yes, maybe people will get sick uh,
More often.
more often. Yes.
Everyone will be sick. That's a good point. You make a good case, Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to give you some practice with these expressions in a homework that I've already prepared. I'll send it to you, so give it a try. Um, and what else? If you did the homework from before, the writing, just send it to me in the chat window and I'll correct it and send it back to you. I got one from Daniel, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I
I
knew I got it
was
from someone.
yesterday was my day off.
Your staff away day. It was yesterday. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we didn't cancel it. Okay. I'll send you a little bit of practice with these key expressions. We're going to be finishing up the unit tomorrow and the day after by looking at mostly the grammatical part. And then we're going to have our final big activity, our case study, where we get to put together all of our vocabulary and all of our key expressions into one big ball of happiness called the case study. We look at a situation and then we simulate it ourselves in, I don't know what we're doing, but I think it's a meeting as well. I'll tell you more about it soon. Okay, I'll send that to you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for speaking skills at 10 and this class at 11 GMT. Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you for the
Bye-bye.
class. Hope we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.